Asteroids is a 2017 VR cinematic produced by Baobab Studios and directed by Eric Darnell, who's well known for directing the Madagascar series. It's the follow-up to Invasion, which was a 2016 360 animation which won an Emmy. So when I heard that there was a sequel to Invasion, I was really excited to see it. Unfortunately, Asteroids is nowhere near as enjoyable as the original, and here's a few reasons why. Invasion, the original, is a film that makes great use of depth, of that Z space, where you see things coming at you from a distance and getting closer. And that works extremely well in VR, one of the best things that content creators can do. Unfortunately, Asteroids is set just entirely in one scene, and it's a spacecraft. The depth goes from 3 or 4 meters to maybe when you're looking out the windshield, it's infinity. It's really far away, and so there's none of that zooming in and depth effect. Another thing that I was really hoping would make it into the sequel is that feeling of the viewer being a character within the story. In Invasion, it's pretty clear that you're a little white bunny rabbit, but in Asteroids, it's a real missed opportunity. That sense of vastness, which again is a really effective method of VR storytelling, it's palpable. You see these giant spaceships and these aliens looming right up close. But because there's no real presence in Asteroids, you don't get that same sense of looming and peril like you do in the original. Asteroid's style is very cartoony, with characters sort of pulling out tools from behind their back. But Darnell doesn't really shoot for a comedy. In fact, the few jokes that were in there didn't quite land for me. Instead, he goes for a sense of drama. But because we've only met the characters briefly, and there's no real investment in the characters, well, the tension just falls flat. One thing that we can learn from Asteroids that it does very well is changing up the lighting conditions frequently, and especially in a film like this, which is all set in one scene with very few camera changes. Actually, it reminds me of Henry by Oculus Story Studios, where the viewer actually is just placed in one position, and so to prevent the scene from feeling a bit boring and a bit the same for the entire time, we get dark parts, we get bright parts, we get red or green or lit up, changing colours all of the time. I wanted to make a note here on distribution for this film. So unlike previous Baobab films, the distribution is very, very limited. I can watch this on YouTube, on Facebook, and a few places like that where it's just a 360 video. Or I could watch this with the full app, which lets me change seats, change camera positions through the entire thing. Unfortunately, that's not available for my Oculus Go, it's not available for my Oculus Rift or my Vive. The only way I can get the full experience is if I own a Gear VR or a Windows Mixed Reality headset. I actually watched this film 3 times. One time on my Oculus Go with the Jaunt VR app, where I watched the preview, and the quality there was pretty good, and I had 3D audio, spatial audio. I also watched it on YouTube on my Oculus Go, and the quality was terrible, wasn't even worth sitting through, and the audio was all just stereo, it didn't change as I turned my head. And then I also downloaded the Baobab iOS app and watched it with my Merge cardboard goggles. And the quality there was bearable, but again, there was no spatial audio. So unless you own a Gear VR or a Windows Mixed Reality headset with the full experience, which I've been unable to see, I actually don't recommend this film. One more thing, spoiler warning for this. In the film, there's a robot space dog called Peas. Well, this film would have been 100 times better if only the viewer were also a robot space dog and had that interaction with some of the characters and was actually able to then leave the spaceship and fly through space, through the asteroids. So that's my review of Asteroids. It's not recommended for me, but there's still a lot we can learn from it. If you like these reviews, then please subscribe. I'm aiming to release at least one per week. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.